Hey guys, welcome to Rapido Cribs. Today I'm here at Jason's house, somewhere in Ontario. We're going to go inside and see what he's been working on the last couple of years, and we're going to have a look at his layout. So why don't we head in right now and have a look? Not that door. So I'm right outside of his layout room right now, and as you can see, we've got this cool door. This is actually a door off of a green sleeper, an XCN green sleeper. As you can see, he's put East View on here because he wanted it to be an East sleeper. So let's head inside and see what he's up to. Hey, Sean!
Jordan!
What's going on down here? How's it going?
Much. How are you? Long time no see in this place, anyway.
Yeah. What are you working on? Deck
I'm working on Deck 3. This is a place called Young Mills. I'm just putting on my homemade sculpt and mold mix.
Nice.
This is where you've got the road crosses the tracks, and you've got a cemetery actually crossing the tracks over here. So Deck 3 is almost done, scenery-wise. I just have the big Kingston Mills Bridge to do, but I'll do that after Deck 2. So.
Excellent.
Yeah, it's really coming along.
Oh, you.
Yeah, actually, I'm glad you're here. I got something I want to show you.
Sure.
Cool.
Down in Kingston?
Well, yeah.
Lead the way. So we're here in Kingston. I see you've got 2 turbos, but I thought you only had 1.
Yeah, so this is turbo. It's actually VSet 2. That it took me about 5 years to get this running. I got it weathered and custom detailed, and I even painted all the armrests and stuff. That took about 5 years to get running well. And then it took me like 3 or 4 years. I worked on this thing and then gave up around 2017. So I finally got this one working now. This is Turbo VSet 3.
So what was the problem?
Oh,
Why'd it take you so long?
Whoa, wasn't the problem. So they look good, right? But when we did the Turbo, Rapido was just Dan and me, and Dan was customer service, and I was the one designing the trains. And I just didn't know what I was doing. So gearing was all wrong. The single axle trucks were serious drag. They would derail, it would shake, it would thump, and a lot of people, it just didn't work at all. So it was not a very successful model, unfortunately. But I did a lot of work on these. Like, I put in weight, I re-geared them, I got new single axle truck guts, tons of work to make these actually run.
Well, considering all of the knowledge and the experience we have now, have you ever thought about doing them again?
Doing them again?
Okay, so what are we looking at, Jason?
So we've parked the Turbo in Brockville. Brockville is a town in eastern Ontario where it was very exciting operation-wise back on 1980 when my layout set, because you'd have the trains would split for Ottawa, Montreal, and then would be rejoined together from Ottawa, Montreal going west. So this is actually a westbound Rapido that's on the north track, and we put the Turbo on the south track here.
Nice, and it's that's the track that goes to Ottawa,
Yeah,
so you know where it goes
that's
now.
coming from Ottawa, yeah. It doesn't go to Syracuse area. That was just a bunch of jiggery-pokery.
Nice. Some continuity from our last
in
video.
our Turbo and everything.
Yeah,
yes.
exactly. So we got the Turbo here in Brockville. What do you want to do to improve this thing?
Oh, there's lots we're going to do. So it's well underway. So the biggest thing is new motor, new drive system, new gearbox, and the single axle trucks are going to be needlepoint axles. The picking up power from the outside, so they run really, really smoothly. The lighting is all improved, so now you've got, instead of having these big LED bulbs, you've got the tiny SMDs, little tiny surface mount diodes in the ceiling, and then in the dome, instead of looking like it was on fire from this big glow on the bottom, we're going to have a little very thin circuit board on top with little LEDs coming down, warm white LEDs as opposed to the cool white that's on the original release, and then there's the sound system.
Yeah. So what do we have here what will we have in the new trains?
In the new one, it's going to be ESU lock sound V5 decoders at both ends with very high quality speakers instead of the cheapy junk that we had. have.
This will be 16-bit sound.
Yeah,
opposed to
very,
11?
very, very, yeah. So the original train had 11-bit sound. It's very tinny. This is going to have a very full throaty sound to it.
Nice.
And it's like if you got the N-scale turbo, that had very good sound on it. So it's like that, just with bigger and better speakers.
Oh, nice.
The way the sets are going to be, if you're ordering a US DOT or Penn Central set, it's a 3-car set. You can order extra cars if you want. The early and late Amtrak sets are 5-car sets. You can order extra cars. But the Canadian sets are being done as individual proper sets. There's a 5-car base set, but then there's a 4-car add-on set that has the correct car numbers and configurations for that particular set. So, for example,
and each one of these each one of the VIA sets.
yeah, the VIA sets are different.
Actually.
That's right,
Yeah.
because set 3, which is this set, which is 149 and 154, was actually cobbled together. So a lot of coaches were rebuilt. So our set, like we never made set 3 in the first run. So it'll have that same cobbled together, like you've got a coach body with a first class interior. And most importantly, the VNCN sets that we did back in 2008 didn't have one of the car styles because we ran out of tooling money.
Yep.
So we're tooling the new car style, which is called IC34. It's a coach with a more baggage area. So it actually is a difference on the outside. It's got a blanked window.
So how many are we doing? All 3 VIA sets, or we're doing 2 of them?
So we're doing the 2 later sets, and then Otter Valley is doing an exclusive run of the first set, which is VIA set 1, which actually got the speed record in 1976, and that
beautiful.
speed record still stands today. That's VIA set. Well, the numbers are 125 and 153, and that set is going to be an Otter Valley exclusive.
Excellent. So why don't we see the turbo in action? Why don't we
Let me fire
up.
up VIA set 2. We'll run it a bit.
Excellent.
Awesome. Okay, set 2, VIA set 2, which is the first one that I weathered back in the day from our first run. Is ready to leave eastbound out of Kingston. We'll close the doors first.
It's very tinny.
Yeah, well, the speakers aren't great, and it's 11-bit sound, so it's just not that clear compared to the stuff we bring out today. And we'll get the bell going. And if you see, when I try and make it move, doesn't move. Moved a bit. To get it to go, I actually have to do this.
And now everyone has a concussion. All right, so now we're down in Jason's coach. You may have seen it before from previous videos, but we're back again. Now, tell us why the turbo?
So when I was 2 years old, we moved from Montreal to Toronto, and we went back on the turbo. And my first clear memory is that return trip on the turbo. So I've been obsessed with the turbo since I was a kid. I tried making a model turbo out of styrene. I was the first customer for a resin turbo that was made by a fellow in Ontario back in the 90s. I think my model was more body filler than resin. And then I started Rapido to get a model of the turbo. And actually, I took all the research material and I wrote this book, which came out with our first turbo and was sold separately. This is TurboTrain: A Journey. It's all photos and stories about the development of the turbo, the history of the train. I found lots of amazing stuff about the turbo, and it's got like all the car numbers and everything like that in there. So very handy resource. Out of print now, but maybe we'll do an updated version and
Might not be a bad idea. I know that picture in the front cover.
Yes,
Little bit out of date, maybe.
I was a lot younger, a lot darker hair, and a lot thinner. So it's really important to get a working model of turbos. I've been obsessed. The last turbo was scrapped in 1985. They were all retired in 1982 in Canada. And I remember my parents actually took me into their bedroom. It was October 31st, 82. It was on the news that the turbo was being retired. And they said, Jason, we have bad news for you. The turbo is being retired. And I cried for days. So even to the point where when I would get those Lifelike HO sets when I was a kid, Go Train, came with an engine and cars, I made a cardboard turbo and taped it to the chassis from the F7 or whatever it was, just so I could have a turbo
like
on my
we
layout.
did with the New Haven.
Yeah, we
600.
taped the pictures of the A600s to the
Sorry,
side.
no, that was the we
Comets.
used 8600s.
Taped the Comets
onto
inside, yeah.
the 8600s.
So
It worked.
I'm really excited now that we're finally going to have a turbo. I mean, you heard in that footage, thump, 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 thump. I mean, the gearbox is just unreliable. What you guys didn't see is that how many times we had to futz with it because I wanted to get rid of the thump. I changed a couple wheel sets, and then it just derailed everywhere.
Sounds like an old Huey helicopter or something like that. So.
Yes. So I'm really glad to say that we are making a brand new, fully redesigned turbo. Unfortunately, it's not compatible with the old 2008 models, so it encourages you to start putting your pennies away now. Put those old models on eBay if you haven't run them, and now it's time to place a reservation for this.
Lots of time too. It'll take a little bit.
Oh yeah, it won't arrive likely before 2023. Yeah. So early 2023.
Good lead time on that.
Yeah.
Now that begs the question too. Like, why now? Did you decide to go back to the turbo?
So for about 5 years, we tinkered with the idea of having an all-new turbo that had working steps and working doors, but then we just realized that in HO scale it wasn't feasible to do that. It would have ended up being like a $3,000 train, and it's just too difficult. And then the warranty, Dan Garcia, I remember saying, I don't want to be responsible for fixing that because there's going to be like hundreds of little parts. So after trying that for a long time, I went back to Dennis, our partner in China, and I said, here's a list of all the things that we got wrong in 2008. How can we fix them all? And he had some ideas, and actually I said, you know what? The way we coupled the cars in N scale was extremely reliable. Let's scale that up to HO. So we actually took the N scale design for the single axle trucks, and we scaled them up. And then now the cars go together a whole new way. Just like the N scale model is much more reliable, much more robust, and it's gonna be a good train finally.
And we will test it until it's just right.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You can't compare Rapido in 2022, 2023 with Rapido, a brand new company in 2008. I mean, I incorporated in 2004. The first models came out in 2006 were passenger cars. The turbo was our first powered model. And I remember the sound guy saying, "Do you want back EMF?" And I said, "What's that?" And he said, "Oh, it's more expensive. Don't worry about it."
Of course.
That was a mistake.
Yep.
And I wanted this to go fast, so let's make the gears so they go fast. And then the minimum speed was 30 miles an hour.
Yep. But like the turbo liner, we'll torture test it to make sure it's
we'll show lots of videos and compare like the new turbo and the old turbo and hear all the lack of thumping in the new one.
Nice. Excellent.
All right, I guess that's it then. So thanks for coming by. This is great. I mean, we haven't done this in 2 years. So,
I know. It's this has been what, like.
L'chaim.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, we'll see you guys soon.
Later.
There's a curve that sweeps out on you.
Yeah, curve is that's what yeah. In your way? Yeah.
Yourself is kind of an emotional thing. Working hard. I bet.